And I am Dennis Jar.
Hello, hello.
Hello, is that Stephanie?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Bill. Can you hear me?
Stephanie, I can. Can you hear me?
At this time, we have Mr. Willen Fenjoy, Prosper Africa, who will present. Mr. Fenjoy, you can present now.
Thank you so much. I believe that was Dennis. It's so nice to see everyone there. It looks so active at the Liberian Business Expo 20. I wish I were down there in Georgia with you all today, but unfortunately, I'm up here in Washington, D.C. So let's talk about Prosper Africa and how Prosper Africa can help you all, no matter what your endeavor is, with working in Liberia, with the United States. Overall, Prosper Africa is a two-way trade and investment initiative. Now, two-way is what's key here for you, because you could be a U.S. company looking to export items to Liberia, or you could be a Liberian company looking to export into the market in the United States. You could be a Liberian company looking to situate yourself here in the United States through foreign direct investment, or you could be a Liberian company or an entity who has put together a project and you're looking for investment. Our focus at Prosper Africa is to intertwine all of these intersections into one. So you should not care which area you fall in. Just make sure you contact us at prosperafrica.gov. That's www.prosperafrica.gov. So let me give you an example of how we work. We represent 17 agencies of the U.S. government. It doesn't matter if the agency has historically worked in development, like USAID or the African Development Foundation, or if they've worked in trade, such as the Department of Commerce, Department of State, or if they've worked in investment financing, such as the Development Financing Corporation, or in export financing, such as the Exim Bank or U.S. Trade and Development Agency. We represent all of the agencies who work in trade and investment between the United States and Africa. So a client walks through our door. A client could be a U.S. business who's looking to trade to Africa, or in this situation, it was an African company that said, hey, I'm looking for investment for a project where we are going to increase our value. And we want to move up in the value chain in agriculture. And this company is working on the ground in Africa in agriculture, and they wanted machinery to freeze dry their vegetables for export. And so right away, we know that this is an investment. This is a company looking for investment dollars to buy machinery and so that they can move up that value chain. So the first step of Prosper Africa is to look at that investment and curate it, meaning work with the project and help them build out the project so they can entice investment, whether it's private sector investment, public sector through the Development Finance Corporation, or XM or TDA, or it doesn't matter. But the first step is to really look at this project in terms of a financer's eye, and what information do they need? What is the return on the investment? And so really build a business case around that investment. And on our website at prosperafrica.gov is, if you scroll about three quarters of the way down, you'll see a button for our virtual deal room. That's called the VDR, and this is where we have our investments. So this is a good place for you to go now if you're thinking, I wonder if my investment, if my project is in line with what Prosper Africa does. So here is where you can register as a company, and you can register as a potential investor or an investee, a project owner, and you can look at the investments there, and you can figure out, oh, okay, there is a good fit, or maybe I need to do a little bit more work. So our first step is to work with you and curate your investment and begin to socialize it to the private sector investors and the public sector investors. And this is our portal for where we put that investment. Now, we work in 360 trades, so we're not looking at just investing, okay, looking for U.S. investment for this project. We're looking for the next step. And as you could surmise, the next step would be, if you get the investment, the dollars to buy the machinery, well, we want that machinery to come from the United States. So we will actively look for you for a U.S. manufacturer of said machinery. And you'll be saying to yourself, yeah, but we could get it a lot cheaper from a number of different sources outside of the United States. Well, this is where the all of USG effort comes into play, because we want to build a business case for why it's better to buy American and send that American machinery to Liberia. So it would come with, we would find a manufacturer of that machinery, and we would work with financing, trade financing. We would look at terms from Exim Bank. We would look for training to add to that sale. So U.S. Trade and Development Agency, USTDA, offers what's called a training grant. And this is a grant that we can attach to a transaction to provide for free training that's extra, and it's up to $1 million, depending on the amount of the sale. And so in this case, let's say the machinery comes with how to work the machinery, how to plug it in, and how to service the machinery. But then we would want to bring the Liberian entity, the project owner, back here perhaps to look how other American projects have used that machinery, perhaps how to set up training programs with that machinery. So it's a little extra. It's an extra piece that we throw in there to entice the buyer in Liberia to choose America. And there are only two pieces that we need to provide to TDA, and that is that that our competition is unfair and is perhaps getting concessionary financing, and that the training, it would actually help the U.S. firm get over that finish line and provide greater benefit. So for that trade piece that comes from the investment piece, we're working with all of the U.S. entities in order to strengthen that. And the strengthening isn't always, as I was just stating, isn't always on the U.S. side of, hey, getting better terms. It could be how to provide to the buyer, to the Liberian company, U.S. funds, U.S. Counseling, so that the buyer can move up the value chain. For instance, we often offer buyers an introduction to the African Development Foundation that has $10,000 grants for entrepreneurs to refine their skills as entrepreneurs, or to get into the YALI program of the State Department. That's Young African Leadership Initiative that provides training back here in the U.S. With a formal institution, with a university, and also side-by-side training with a business or with an organization counterpart. It could be even your organization there in Atlanta. So it's again, it sweetens the deal, and it creates a more of all of USG transaction, where the buyer knows that it's not just the seller that is interested in selling that one piece. It's building a relationship. It's building that two-way relationship between the United States and Liberia. So, and then the third piece in this particular transaction would be, who are you going to sell that to? So in this situation, this is a live situation. I can't tell you exactly who the buyer and the supplier are, but in this situation, before we looked at the financing and before we looked at the machinery that we would source from the United States, we looked at off-takers. So that would be the buyer in the United States who would buy the freeze-dried vegetables after the machinery is after the investment is made, the machinery is delivered, and the trade is ready to begin. We're looking for an off-taker because we want to talk to that off-taker in the United States and ask them, what are your specifications? What are the standards? What are you looking for in terms of a finished product or for an in-between product? And because that is then going to determine what the machinery is, so that the Liberian company purchase the correct machinery, et cetera, et cetera. And in this situation, we spoke with a company just outside of Chicago, and they had a supply source from China, and they're looking, and this should be very important for you. They're looking for substituting their supply from China to multiple suppliers in Africa, because just like a diverse stock fund, they don't want all of their sourcing to be from one country, because if there are trade barriers between the United States and that country, well, then they're out of luck. Or if the price goes way up, if there's a tariff against that country, then they're out of luck. So they would rather have numbers of sources of supply from smaller countries, such as Liberia, so that it disperses that risk. They don't have only one source. So in this situation, we asked the buyer, the Chicago company, what is the machinery? And they said immediately, yeah, usually we have our suppliers get machinery from China because it's cheaper. And so that's fine. We asked them what the HTS code was of said machinery, and we sourced the same machinery from the United States, better quality and higher cost for sure, but then could be offset by terms, by agreements with numbers of U.S. agencies, and so we sweeten the deal. Also, right down to how to increase the value of the partnership in Liberia itself. And so we're looking at a complete 360 trade deal. We're not just focused on the buyer. We're not just focused on the supplier, on the investor, or the investor. We're focused on the entire transaction. And so whether you are a buyer or a supplier or an investor or a project owner of, I want to build a processing plant, or I want to build a hospital in Monrovia, it doesn't matter. We just want you to be in touch with Prosper Africa through our website, prosperafrica.gov, www.prosperafrica.gov, and then we'll have a one-on-one discussion with you about where it is, where you are, and how we can bring in the whole of U.S. government as a solution. So that brings us to 1:30. That's as far as I was supposed to speak. I hope this is helpful. I don't know if there's any way for me to take questions, but I'm standing by in case I can do that. So that's the end. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday down in Atlanta. And back to you, Stephanie.
All right, Mr. Fanjo, thanks for the presentation. And we'd appreciate you. We will take a short break. When we come back, then another person will be presenting. Thank you again for that beautiful presentation.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me spell your numbers of your name, Doctor.
I just like them because they get so excited about helping us. And like people could give one piece of.
So who is next to present?
Already, give from you to him.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Job.
Yeah, so every time people send a message, you're not yet. Are we having it? You're not yet.
May the next person present, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. Adult men.
Oh, they're women. They say asleep.
Hello, everybody. We're going to continue our program now. So, can I get a little bit lower voices so we can hear the important information from our panelists? Thank you. Our next He worked as a state farm sales manager from 2005 to 2009, and then became a state farm agency owner from 2010 to 2013. In 2013, he also started a apartment from scratch. He sold the first day from his life in 2014. Nelson also worked as a manager with Dastra, Count, and Real Estate, Allstate in 2016 and 2017. He bought and became 100%.
I'm tired of how I'm going to manage tonight. This is not be easy.
In 2021, he bought and merged with Green & Smith with Allstate, and then he's a broker.
You got this. You got this. You got this, baby.
Also became a broker of sales to buy the Stonewall Insurance in 2021. Nelson currently owns 2 Allstate insurance agencies, and his wife also owns 2 independent insurance agencies as well. Total combined agency premium of $20.4 million. Married to the love of his life, with his non-profit, and have 2 beautiful children. Welcome, Mr. Nelson.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to begin extending a warm welcome to Ambassador to Atlanta. I want to extend a warm welcome to all the panelists, and of course, our own hometown hero, the Senator Lincoln. At this time, I want to share a little bit with you, and I'm just kindly asking for your attention. I believe this is a business expo. I do think there is 1 or 2 things we can pick up from a little bit of my testimony, my story. To give you a heads up, what happened? So to give you a heads up, to summarize a little bit of my journey, I'm not too I was born and raised in Liberia, and due to the war, separated from my whole family for 3.5 years. Came to this country with not much in my hands or on my back. At the age of 11, well, the years I was summarizing my career. What I specialize in is I've had the opportunity to start from scratch 2 different insurance agencies.
People, let's show a little respect. Can we lower the voice here and let the panelists speak? Pay attention, he has very important information to share with us. Thank you.
So I've had the opportunity and the privilege to start 2 separate insurance companies. And like my bio says, in total of 20 million in premiums. 20.5 million in premiums. I started 2 from scratch, and I've also bought an additional 2, all using SBA money, government funding, without having to put a single down payment.
You heard that? No money down.
And so, in total, I've had an opportunity to borrow about $3.5 million from the government without having to put a single down payment. And so, between my wife and I, we have 4 insurance agencies combining growth of $3.5 million in annual revenue. So, if an individual like myself who came to this country with absolutely nothing at 11 years old can have a company generating $3.5 million a year without having to put a down payment, it is important information that I do believe you can also do.
Yeah.
So I'll work and dive into how I went about doing it. The specialty area has to do with if you have a passion in something. And I'm going to use, for instance, a restaurant or a daycare or a gym. If you have an interest in acquiring or building a business from scratch, you first have to focus on what is the area of interest. So let's say there's a gym you want to buy or a gym you wanted to start. My advice from my experience is focus on identifying a small gym that may have an individual who's possibly have had it for a long time to get people exit. So it's important for you to understand taxes. So if you find a gym been in a business for maybe 5 or 10 years and there's a little bit of an unconsideration, you can go to the SBA. There are special things. So if you're looking to buy a Blink's or a Subway store or a gym or a restaurant or a daycare, there are specific banks, not the typical Bank of America or Wells Fargo. There are unique banks that specialize in that field. And the SBA will usually work with that bank, and they know everything about helping people finance and get loans to purchase gym. Or if it's a restaurant, believe me, your credit has to be okay. It's not to be superb. You have to put a plan together. And so what I did, we need to fact that I started an insurance business, started from scratch, and I work with a company I learned. So you may have to find someone to go and work with maybe 6 months or a year. During this time, you're not focusing on income that you can take. It's not about making a big one. There's no get rich quick. You have to be patient and you have to have a plan where you're disciplined and focused on, I'm going to learn from this. So if I'm going to buy a restaurant with Mr. T. Nelson, I'm going to come and work with Mr. T. Nelson and be able to accept a decent or minimum wage. But my purpose of being there is to learn the business. The reason I think you have to do that, the SBA looks favorably when you are working in a business that you are looking to acquire. So that was my key point. I went and worked in this business, and I worked there for 3 years. Now, what you have to understand, if the business is valuation, the bank will help you come up with a valuation. Valuation works if there's a daycare restaurant that brings in $9,000 a year. There are companies who would value and say, since the business makes this much, 3 times the gross is for the value of the business. So let's say for instance, it's a flat $1 million. If the gym is 2,000 assets worth $1 million, I have to understand you can go to the owner of the business whatever business that is, you have to understand, if I get $4 million and I bring it to him, he's going to be skinned. When I say skinned, he's going to have to pay a lot of taxes. So I have to be able to educate him and say, listen, why don't we do this? How about I get 700,000 from the bank? The other 300,000 we will consider what we call owner finance. It means I'm going to owe the bank 700,000. I'm going to pay them monthly, but I'm also going to owe him the 300,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and present to him a plan. I'm going to pay the bank over a 10-year period. As a result of paying the bank over a 10-year period, let's say the bank is going to charge me 5% interest. I can come back to so you can set up what we call commission of assignment, which means you have to again look at, okay, the business is making a certain amount of money. You can calculate how much gross revenue is coming in per month. And that's why I say you have to focus on maybe a business that is slightly established for 5, 6, 7, 8, or 10 years. What they're going to do is take a look at the monthly revenue. They're going to subtract the monthly payment for that loan. And they're going to work out a deal with the bank that says every single month as your revenue comes in, we're going to take his payment and pay him first, and the rest is going to come to you. And that instills a lot of trust and a lot of a good working platform to where, as an individual, you may have about only $10,000. And I'm here to tell you, you can purchase a business generating $1 million or 2 or 3, because if the business is generating that much money, the bank is looking at the strength of the business and the fact that that cash flow has been coming in for the past 10 plus years. The SBA would rather loan someone like me at, I think, 30 years old, when they loaned me $1.9 million. They rather loan me that money because I was already working in the business. I had a proven track record. They rather loan me that money to have a business to employ people than for people to go unemployed. And when times arrived during COVID, because I had an SBA loan in 2020, they have protection plans that they would allow me to skip payments for 3 months or 6 months. Because when the government is backing you financially, they do not want you to fail. They want you to succeed. And so what you have to focus on, if you say, Nelson, I'm starting a business, I'm starting from scratch, there is nothing wrong with starting from scratch. I'm just not equipped to give you much advice on how to get funding if you start starting from scratch. However, if you start from scratch, which is what I did, you can have a game plan in mind to acquire someone. You have to start courting that person. Courting that person means you got to visit, you got to have business meetings, you got to see how you can partner with them and not look at them as a competitor. And so if you're a portion individual, and so listen, you're working too hard. How about you can make decent amount of money over the next 12 years? Look at me as a retirement plan, and you have to understand your benefit is going to come when you almost done paying off that loan. Okay? When you support an individual and you identify a business, you can take the next 3-4 years to start from scratch and build a revenue, even if you're generating 50. My wife, independent agency, was generating about $50,000 $60,000 before she approached and bought a business that's making $700,000. So you can start from scratch. You can start small, but you need to identify a potential opportunity that you can eventually elevate and go big. It is possible. 2014, I want to explain my testimony in the sense of how, no matter, regardless of where you are and where you find yourself on the bottom, you can overcome and you can achieve anything. I made a decision in 2013 when we got married. We had the potential to have a very big wedding, but we had an extremely small wedding, below $5,000 budget, because we took that money and invested it into a business. Now, a great deal of people in this Liberian community criticize me, cuss me out, and everything because I didn't like it. And what I'm saying is important for you to understand. We have to talk real.
Yeah.
I took that money and invested into a business, and as a result, that's food agencies, people covering house. I made that sacrifice. When we got married, we lived with my mother-in-law for 2 years. All of that was intentional. That was not by mistake. That was not he said, she said. So we're here at this Liberian Business Expo. It's important for us to understand that there are times we have to get serious.
Yeah.
If you want the world to get serious about Liberia, you have to take yourself seriously. You got to make serious decisions. You got to make serious sacrifices, and you have to be willing to do things that are not popular.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2013, I made some decisions. I had absolutely no money. I went to Kroger, I shopped, was getting food, time to check out. Every single credit card was declined, no money in my account. A lady at the Kroger store in 2014 helped me sort my groceries back. When I got in my car, I got a call from my tax accountant that I owed IRS $5,000. So at my lowest point, I had nothing, 2014. Fast forward, because I still sacrificed, stayed at home, was married. The biggest gift I ever received was my mother-in-law, she's a Liberian lady, encouraged me to not be the tail and that it's okay to be the head. And when I'm saying that because a lot of times in our community, it's a shameful thing when you fail. And what we need to understand is okay to fail.
Yeah.
Some of the most successful people in life have failed many times.
Yep.
And one of the most important things you can do to a fellow like you, as you see them fail, you can encourage them to do good, to try, continue to struggle, because without struggle, you can succeed. And fast forward from 2014, that experience when I was embarrassed in October, fast forward several years later, in 2017, I was in a position, I had about $12,000 between my wife and we were approved $1.9 million on that day. I say that to say, don't just look at the success I've had. The struggles and the downfall are real. And as Liberians, we need to acknowledge and not necessarily look at it as shameful. Okay? If I can do it, you can do it. From a funding standpoint, we can go more into it, we can have more contact, but I just wanted to explain the general concept. The general concept, if you like a small used car dealership, you can find a bank that specializes only in financing small car dealerships. It's a long application process. I got turned down at 13 banks before I got approved about one. Like getting that first one.
Yeah.
So there's a bank out there for be equipped to make sacrifices, to make serious decisions, and research for opportunities so that one day you too can be able to acquire a business. And so at this time, I would like to say again, thank you to the sponsors and the creator of this event. I'm glad I'm here to maybe share a little bit of my story. And when I guess we're all done, I'm open for questions. Any questions you may have concerning anything, I'm willing to go deeper with each individual in where they desire to be as far as getting more knowledge to get funding for your business to take it to the next level. Again, thank you.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
Please.
Let me see if I go online. Let me see. No, that's a different one. Let's see. Oh, to do what thing it is?
Introduce Dr. T. Nelson Williams.
Oh,
You have your stuff?
I think so.
Okay, so about Dr. T. Nelson Williams II. T. Nelson Williams is the Chief Administrator at Connex Oil and Gas Holdings. William is also the COO of Connex Group, JV. He previously served as Managing Director at the Liberian Petroleum Refining Company, LPRC, and Vice President of Bank of America. He possesses a wealth of experience, working 24 years at leading U.S. corporations, including Bank of America, SunTrust Bank, American Express, Ticketmaster, First Investors Corporation, Marriott Hotel, and Bates Hotel International. His civic involvement extends to international and local boards, including EcoBank Liberia, Teach for Liberia. He's the board chairman, president of the Young Professional Program, PYPP. He's the board and core chairman, the YMCA of Liberia, the United Negro College Fund, UNCF, American Management Association, the Society for Human Resources Management, and Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He's actually the area director of the West Africa and past president of the Eta Epsilon Lambda chapter. He's also served as councilman at the Liberian Chamber of Commerce. He was recently selected as vice president of the Mighty Bowers Sports Association. He holds a PhD degree in computer science from St. Augustine's University, an MPA degree from North Carolina Central University, and an honorary PhD in Christian leadership and business from Four Kingdom University. Mr. Williams earned a certificate in public and private human resources from North Carolina State University. He also obtained a project management certificate from the Project Management Institute. Mr. T. Nelson is married to Councilor Sonny Conga Williams, and they are blessed with two beautiful children, girls, Kadia and Celia. He also has over 10 non-biological children who benefit from his mentorship, coaching, and educational support. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Williams.
Thank you. Ambassador George S.W. Patton, Liberia's Ambassador to the United States of America. Honorable Cynthia Blanford, Honorary Consul General for the Republic of Liberia to the State of Georgia. Honorable Jackson George, Consul General for the Republic of Liberia to the State of Minnesota. Honorable Edwina Zagba, Chairman of the Liberian Telecommunications Authority, LTA. Mr. Nelson Coppet. Fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from Liberia as we celebrate the 175th independence of our dear country while acknowledging the bicentennial, commemorating the arrival of the settlers. Let me thank the organizers and hosts of this great program for inviting me as a participant to share my thoughts on the topic, the role of the Liberian diaspora in Liberia's economic development. This topic is so dear to my heart because I believe that only Liberians can turn our economic situation around. It is up to Liberians worldwide to make a difference in Liberia's development. No foreign nation, NGO, or peacekeeping mission will change Liberia for the better. It is time we apply our God-given gifts, resources, influence, and expertise to develop our country. As I look around this room, I see professionals and individuals with the capacity and resources to contribute to the nation who are looking for the right opportunity. That's why we are speaking today, because we have been there. After 24 years in the US, we went back home in 2007. And today, I believe that's one of the best decisions I ever made, besides my marriage, getting married to my wife, and maybe one other decision that I've made in my life. Again, some of you have heard of what's happening in Liberia, and some of you are contemplating doing something in Liberia or between the US and Liberia, but don't know where to start. We will talk about that later. Today, Liberia has 1.2 million citizens in the diaspora and a little over 500,000 in the United States. Among this number, you will find highly skilled medical practitioners, lawyers, engineers, scientists, ICT professionals, to name a few. So how can we leverage this strong diaspora base of Liberians to participate in the development of Liberia? The ambassador spoke a little bit about this. Also, the honorary consul from Georgia also spoke a little bit about this. You have a power base. I'm not talking about Liba, Yuba, and all these groups. I'm talking about a base of Liberians worldwide that can make impact in our country. You're already making an impact. Did you know that 25% of the entire GDP is sent to the country by Liberians living abroad in remittances?
Yes.
25%.
No, you ain't.
This is amazing. How can we combine our efforts to provide meaningful projects that will benefit the country while improving the economy?
Yeah.
I tell you a story. Sometimes we have what it takes, but we never take the steps to make things happen.
Amen.
I recall,
Say it again, please. Say it again.
I recall in 2009, 2 years after I relocated to Liberia, I invited 8 friends to the beach. I said, gentlemen, let's go to Marshall and have a discussion. So the first thing, what, is it a party? I said, no, this is not that kind of party. This is a discussion. So 9 of us, including myself, went to Marshall that weekend. And I said, gentlemen, we have resources. We have property. What can we do to make a meaningful impact that we can be a major employer? So everybody was excited. T, thank you. We talked about what? Starting a regional airline. We talked about resorts. We talk about 5-star businesses. 2 months later, we had our second meeting. We went from 9 to 5. You almost got it, 4, but it was 5. The meeting after that, we were only 2. So the question is, what was it? Was the goal too big? Was the vision too high? Was the, what was, why did we reduce from 9 persons to 2? So instead of doing a 5-star hotel or resort, the 2 of us got together, we put a small hotel in Buchanan, and we began to what? Do business and do business well. But guess what? 2 years after, when the Lebanese saw that we're doing extremely well, they put their resources together, and guess what? They came and took a part of our business, a major aspect of our business. Why? Because we could not commit as Liberians to work together. Why is this? A few countries have set up high-level government agencies to interact with the diaspora populations abroad. And both donor governments and international organizations have established programs to implement diaspora engagement strategies. Liberia must take advantage of its diaspora population by having meaningful engagements. Just imagine the Liberian Ministry of Diaspora Affairs. Working with what? The Liberian Global Diaspora Network. This must be what? An intentional effort by all. I'm not talking about high school alumni association. About small it's from Titmouth to Monrovia. How do we move stuff from Bassa to Limba? We have the port cities that are dormant. We have one that's active, Monrovia, and the other 3 are dormant. So opportunities are there, and we must take them. And the commitment will have to come from us. We see few people that are committed. I see Jackson George in Liberia more than I see some Liberians in Liberia. Because he has a heart for his country and he wants to see something happen in Liberia. So that's where the first thing must be, you must be committed to this cause. In the next 6 to 7 years, Jackson, I want to be retired in the cattle fishing, and it's the young people that want to see coming up and doing the things. And so that's why today I want to recognize someone that I'm very proud of. Mahmoud Johnson, I think he doesn't know this. Mahmoud, please stand. I believe Mahmoud was 19 years old when he started this cosmetic business, starting J-Palm. Today, he has one of the most successful company and factory in Liberia that's doing all kinds of things. I just saw his palm oil, and I said, "But when did you come up with this?" He said 2 weeks ago. So he keeps on adding. Now he has stores in Liberia and abroad. So that is an example of a success story in Liberia. And I understand he has also partnered with folks abroad. These are the connections that we would like to see happening in Liberia. So I'm very encouraged when you go around Monrovia now, even with the economic situation that we have, you see new businesses coming up almost every month. and they are good businesses. I cannot call all the names, but they are businesses in construction, real estate, education, cosmetics, food services. How can we expand to large and multinational businesses that will impact local and international customers? I'm proud to be with a company that's 100% Liberian owned, Connex Oil and Gas. Connex Oil and Gas started back in 2006. Today is the largest oil and gas company in the country, and I'm proud to say the only oil and gas company that is now in 3 countries. We are also in Sierra Leone and in Nigeria. So I spend my time in other countries building this brand. I'm also pleased to let you know that Liberia stopped refining oil in 1980 because of bad infrastructure caused by the war. Today, I'm pleased to say that in 2 months, Connex Oil and Gas will be refining.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Connex Oil and Gas will be refining 10,000 barrels per day. Consumption that will be able to supply petroleum products for the entire country. And then in the next 3 years, according to our strategic plan, we will be adding on 40,000 barrels per day that will be able to supply surrounding countries. Wow. Ghana, Nigeria. Now, these things, sometimes you sit and you think, okay, this stuff is not possible. I'm saying this not to brag or boast, but to let you know if Liberians can sit down, strategize, come up with a plan, and know that in the next 5 years we'll be in 6 countries and impacting from 65 employees, okay, 65 employees in 2008 to now 100 and I'm sorry, to now 1,200 employees in 2022. We can do it together. So, as we ponder over what needs to be done to boost our economy, it's good to know that the needs for Liberia are many. Right. We don't have to jump into a profession that somebody is in or a business that somebody is in because that's what we do. Somebody is selling slippers and gowns that they bring from Dubai, and everybody started to go to Dubai to bring the same product. Why? So what is your niche? Nelson spoke a little bit about that. That he was already in a business, he had the expertise. So it was easy for him to transition into his own business. So I want to share some things that I would like for us to consider. Some recommendations that I believe will help all of us, especially those who have a passion for giving back to Liberia. Trade is the first. Liberians in the diaspora can connect producers and consumers in countries of origin and destination. Liberians abroad can also buy products from Liberia and introduce these products to new markets in the countries of settlement. Products such as pineapples, moringa, avocado, sugarcane, mangoes can be processed, packaged, and sold in international markets. As you can see, those products that Mahmoud is selling today and producing in Liberia, they are packaged well. My pineapple story. I was on a flight and met an African American, and as we were talking, he found out from Liberia. He said, wow. The first thing he said, and Mr. Williams, he said, the best pineapples I've had in the world. He said, I'm a missionary. I traveled to various countries. He said, but the best pineapples in the world is from Liberia. Without a doubt. He said, also the mangoes are very good. And we have it there. In fact, in my yard, I have a mango tree. I can tell Langford, take that one and that. On the other side, I have the coconut tree. You have the coconut tree. We have so much. God has blessed our nation with fertile soil that we can do so much. You know, God blesses us in different ways. I went to the country of Kuwait. And when I arrived, I noticed that people were in the rain, dancing in the rain. So that looked kind of strange to me. And why are they dancing in the rain? Is there, sir, you don't understand. You haven't had rain in 2 years. But God blessed them with oil. So they can import everything in. You see? But then when I went back, I really appreciated what God had blessed us with. Because we have the soil there. And these are things that we need to do. We need to trade. We need to make money with what we are blessed with. Another thing is manufacturing. We have a very high unemployment in the country. So it would be manufacturing processing plants to Liberia. We'll be able to create jobs and contracts for thousands of Liberians. Let's learn from other diaspora populations. For example, according to Manuel Orisco of El Salvador, the diaspora purchases of traditional products from El Salvador accounts for as much as 10% of the country's total export. One study of Canada's trade with 136 partner countries showed that a 10% increase in immigration from a particular country was associated with a 1% increase in export to that country and a 3% increase in imports from it. So these are opportunities for us to look at. Diaspora Liberians can invest directly in Liberia and persuade non-diaspora investors to do the same. Boosting investor confidence in acknowledge of emerging and undeveloped markets. Today we have more foreign investors who are very successful in doing business in Liberia, while Liberians are moving at a slower pace. We have some challenges, but regardless of those challenges, you have many success stories. What are they doing differently? For any business or any opportunities that you want to pursue in Liberia, you must do your due diligence. And when you do your due diligence and put the right team together, you can succeed. I'm a testimony to that. My wife is here, Councilor Sonny Williams. She had a successful law practice. She's a lawyer in Jonesboro, Georgia for years. So when God gave me the vision to relocate to Liberia, she didn't get the vision. So there was tension. There was tension in the house. But guess what? She abandoned her law profession here, and today she has a very successful high school. She started with 2 students, our 2 daughters, in 2012, and today we have close to 200 students. Okay? And so opportunities are there. Opportunities are there. I think about it. I say, I did very well here in the U.S. We did. I worked in the corporate structure, was promoted at highest level in senior management. I was an employee. In Liberia, I'm an employee and an employee. If I look at the number of faculty and staff and the number of people that she pays every month, and the number of people that I pay every month personally from small businesses, including my consultancy, there is at least 60 persons that put food on their tables and take care of their extended family because of the two of us. Right. That's fulfilling to me, and that tells me that the decision we made to move to Liberia was a good one. So, again, the National Investment Commission of Liberia did some studies, and they said that the following industry present the greatest opportunities for investment: agriculture, infrastructure, logistics, manufacturing, and mining minerals. Over 80%. Now, our staple diet in Liberia is what? Rice. You got that right. And I love rice. Over 80% of Liberia's domestic rice consumption is imported from abroad. Cynthia, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. In the last 2 decades, we have seen an increase 27% in the production of cassava. And if you look at the byproducts of cassava, there are many. So there's also opportunity in this sector. Cassava, there's moringa that has health benefits. Thank you. So these are things that we can talk about, but until we start to do something about, we will miss opportunity. I spoke earlier about 4 ports in the country. Water transportation presents a huge potential for opportunity to transport passengers and cargo around the country. Then, let me touch on capacity, meaning skills and knowledge transfer. Liberians around the world have gained professional experience, valuable skills, and contacts that they can transfer to the country by seeding business and entrepreneurship, training, and mentoring. As Conex was going through this project of building the refinery that actually cost us $95 million, the country had lost every refinery professional because it had been 30 plus years since Liberia had refined. So we had to invest in foreign trainers from the US, Houston, and a group from India to come and train our refinery workers for a period of 9 months. But thankfully today we have now Liberians who are trained as refinery operators, refinery managers that will run that Liberian business. In the top management, we have 4 foreign folks that will do training for on-the-job training for another 2 years. And before they leave, we will be replacing them with Liberians. So the entire refinery will be run by Liberians. So what are we doing with the educational sector? There are private schools, there are public schools. As I mentioned before, Cyber Ed School has a robust STEAM program. The high school started in 2019, and I'm pleased to say that since 2019, every senior that graduated from Cyber Ed Christian School of Excellence has been accepted to a U.S. university on scholarship. Okay? Schools like Cyber Ed are 100% owned and self-funded. They could do much more with support and collaboration from the diaspora. We also have Teach for Liberia. It's an NGO focused on preparing teachers to provide quality instruction to students in Liberia. Teach for Liberia was established by a young Liberian who returned from the diaspora to make an impact in the educational sector. Organizations like Teach for Liberia can also do much more with support from the diaspora. I recall back in the early 80s when we came to college in the US. The university that I went to in North Carolina were 25 Liberians. Out of the 25, 24 were honor students. 24 out of 25. Why? Because at the time we got a solid foundation from the educational system that we had in Liberia. Today, we need to get back to that level. So when this Liberian decided to go back to Teach for Liberia, that was his intent, to go and help build the capacity of the teachers, because the students will only be as good as the instruction that they are getting. Today we have over 500 Liberian doctors, and probably 25% of those in Liberia, with so many around the world. Again, let's learn from other diaspora populations. According to the Migration Policy Institute, many public as well as private healthcare facilities have turned to medical professions or medical professionals in the diaspora to help fill gaps in medical training and services. Please, I want you to hear this information. The I managed project known as Migration for Development in Africa, MIDA, the Ghana Health Project reached 21 health workers and students who took part in training and education programs provided by over 100 Ghanaian diaspora health professionals residing in Europe. So hundreds of these professionals decided to go back and contribute to the health sector. Today, they have transformed the health sector in Ghana. We can do that. We have specialists in Georgia. We have doctors that can collaborate and do something in Liberia. Mr. Ambassador, Honorable Consul Generals, I know that you are working on bringing the Liberian medical professionals together. I encourage you and the ambassador to continue to engage our healthcare professionals in the U.S. to commit to building the capacity of our medical professionals. And if there's anything that I can personally do to help, please let me know. This must be done. I did an assessment on the largest referral hospital in the country, JFK. And one of the things that I realized is that when they took me to the storage area, they had over $5 million worth of equipment that was donated to the country, but was just sitting there because we did not have the professional technicians to use it. So that's what we need. We need professionals in the medical field. We need technicians that can operate these equipment. Then, patient care. The whole thing about making this a delightful experience for patients coming in and out. That needs to be a focus for the. Then, I will talk a little bit later about public-private partnerships. I will tell you that JFK now is the most effective and the best department at JFK Island, because part in fact